Got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet next to me. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I shot my wife in the stomach with 38.
Why did you do this?
She enticed me and she ridiculed me throughout my lifetime. I'll see if she's alive. She's alive? She's dead. I think she's dead.
Sensational.
Motherfucker.
Let's play a game.
And have we got a game for you today? This is number 2 in just a few hours. And we're looking at the Great British Broadcasting Corporation news. And of course, we've over the past weekend, since I think Thursday, throughout Europe, we've had the European elections. And it turns out in France that President Macron's party has been absolutely trounced. The exit polls and all the information at the moment suggests that his party got 15% and Marine Le Pen's National Rally, some would say National Front, some would say far-right bunch of racist Nazis, has got 32%, allegedly. And President Macron's immediate reaction to this is to dissolve the French Parliament and call snap elections. His party is clearly not wanted, so he has decided he is going to get rid of Parliament, and the new elections are going to be... When are they going to be? Something like the 6th of July, 7th of July. President Emmanuel Macron has said he is dissolving Parliament and calling for new elections following the performance of the far-right National Rally in the European elections. Do you see that far right? Now, I never know these things. I know when Marine Le Pen's husband or father was taking it forward, it was very far right. I don't know whether they're far right. Everything that is not populist central left nowadays is automatically called far right by the mainstream media and by everybody left. And because the Great British Broadcasting Corporation comes from a particularly fascist far left perspective, anything that's not that is far right. So he has called for parliamentary elections to be held on the 30th of June and 7th of July. Now, that really does feel like a bit of an emotional reaction from a very emotional, wokeist, pretty weak guy. But I'm wondering whether it's his ability or his chance to just get out of politics, because he's been there long enough. He became a snap choice about 10 years ago. I'm wondering whether he's giving himself the chance to get out. But I've got a feeling these elections do not impact his presidentship, I don't think. Presidentship or presidency, I'm not sure. I don't know whether he himself is resigning as well. And I wonder whether we have to wait for that to come, because he was only elected as president for his second term 2 years ago. Now, it was either 2 or 4 years ago that France changed its constitution. The presidency could only last 5 years instead of 7 years, and interestingly was limited to 2 consecutive terms per president. And this is Emmanuel Macron's second term. So if he actually resigns and calls for presidency elections at the same time, and I'm not sure whether he has, I don't know, I can't tell from these words, that is his way of getting out. Absolutely fascinating. The exit polls suggest that the centre-right European People's Party has extended its dominance over the European Parliament. The Greens and centrist Renew have fallen back, and the 2 right-wing groups, which are home to most of the far-right parties, have advanced slightly. Germany's far-right AfD, which Scholz's party, the Green Party, I think they're called the Green Party, they tried to make the AfD illegal. They tried to kick them out, a bit like Biden is trying to kick out Trump. They tried to get rid of them, but democracy is democracy. They couldn't ban it because it is actually a proper political party. And there are some particularly far-right people in it. I just don't know whether the AfD as an organization or a party itself is far-right. I got a feeling it's a bit more far-right, full of skinheads and football supporters, skinhead football supporters with lots of tattoos. I have a feeling that that's who is in the AfD, and Dresden is a massive area of it, as is a lot of previous East Germany. The AfD has been turfed out of the identity and democracy grouping because of a series of scandals. So it's now part of the independence group. The Spanish, the right-wing People's Party has gone up from 13 to a broadcast 21 to 23. They seem to be on a par now with President or Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's left-wing party, PSOE. My mother really fucking hates Sanchez and the PSOE. I got a feeling that my mother is with the much more right-wing Vox, the hard right Vox. So this is interesting. Hard right versus far right. What's the difference? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. There's a bit of a twist in Denmark, blah, 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 blah. This was the thing that I saw as the last thing that I saw when I decided to quickly go live. What I haven't seen is any of the newer updates. So Donald Tusk's centrist party seems to be winning in Poland. Marine Le Pen says she has just welcomed President Emmanuel Macron's decision to call a snap election. This historic vote shows that when people vote, people win. Hey. If you've ever heard a truism, then here is a truism. When people vote, people win. Or the people win. It sounds like maybe she's missed out a word, like the guy who landed on the moon. We are ready to take over power if the French give us their trust in the upcoming national elections. We are ready to exercise power to end mass migration, to prioritize purchasing power, ready to make France live again. What's quite fascinating about these far right or these right-wing parties that keep on being brought into power, Maloney from Italy is one example. There's a lot of joy and from the Russian side, and from maybe it's not the Russian side, maybe it's the Westerners who are supporting the Russians, so to speak, that they all go, yay! And there's a lot of them supporting the AfD. There's a lot of them that support National Rally. But if they are far right, these are Russia's natural enemies, which might be why Maloney is particularly anti-Russian. Because Putin could very easily start talking about the Nazis or the fascists in any of these countries, irrespective who comes into power, but especially if they're far right. So the question is, are they far right? I don't know. What else is set here? So Hugh Schofield, reporting from Paris, says calling a snap election is a huge surprise for the country and a huge risk for President Emmanuel Macron. He could have reacted differently. He could have just kept going, explaining the hard right's massive victory as a European aberration, which would be corrected at more important elections like national ones. He could have trusted the impending Euro Football Championship and, above all, the Paris Olympics to keep people's minds off politics for a couple of months. That was certainly how the Paris commentariat thought he would take his party's route. I think he meant route. Oh, no, route. Yeah, how he would take the way that his party was routed. Fell apart. But one can only assume the president had seen this coming and planned his response in advance. Certainly the result was an almost exact replica of the polls, so he would have had plenty of time to consider his options. The fact is, he is stuck. He has no majority in the National Assembly, so getting any bill through is already a struggle. With most of the country now so clearly against him, any new legislation, for example, the upcoming budget, could have proved explosive. So he has plumped for clarity. If the hard right has the votes, then, he says, they should be given the chance to govern. Obviously, the president will hope his own Renaissance party can mount a fight back at the elections on 30th of June and 7th of July. Our UK elections are on the 4th of July. Or that other parties will do better. But he must appreciate the odds favour another victory for the Rassemblement National. Maybe not one so sweeping as today's, but enough for it to become the biggest party in Parliament, at which point we might well have a Prime Minister Le Pen or Bardella. The question is, will we still have a President Macron? President Macron with Marine Le Pen as Prime Minister, or Bardella, I don't know Bardella. Let's just say it's Marine Le Pen. If we've got Marine Le Pen as the president, as the Prime Minister, and Macron as the president, France is completely blocked. Absolutely, completely, thoroughly and utterly blocked, as is the EU, which is a bit of a problem. If his party loses in the general election, I think that's the end of Macron. He will call snap elections for a new president, and he won't be able to run because he's had his 2 consecutive terms. Fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Let's see what else it says here. This is the Telegraph. European elections latest. Macron calls snap election after humiliating EU defeat. This is where I nicked the thumbnail. Marine Le Pen's National Rally won 32% of the vote, more than double of the president's Renaissance Party on 15.4%. His worst ever European election performance. Jordan Bardella, the National Rally's lead candidate. So it'll either be Bardella from National Rally or Marine Le Pen from National Rally. It depends who's going to be Prime Minister. If they win the national elections, of course, their general election. The French have given their verdict and it's final. In Germany, Olaf Scholz's ruling socialists finished in third place, beaten by the far-right AfD in a worst-ever performance for the German Chancellor's SPD party. I wonder if they are going to call a snap election next. Third place. Politico. Macron dissolves parliament after EU defeat. Following his party's crushing defeat. First round takes place on June the 30th, second round July the 7th. France needs a clear majority in serenity and harmony. To be French at heart, it is about choosing to write history, not be driven by it, Macron said. But what about the presidency, Emmanuel? What are you doing? Or are you safe? I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's the end of that story, but I've got a new one for you. I've got another one for you. It's nothing to do with France. This is to do with the UK. Now, this is pretty shocking stuff. It is again from the Great British Broadcasting Corporation. It's from a place called Telford in Shropshire. This information has just come out. Schools and toilet training have never, ever been an issue before. Any 4-year-old going to school knows about toilet training or has been toilet trained. This caught my eye. This is a shock. Schools across the UK are under unprecedented pressure as they struggle to address a range of social issues unrelated to teaching. It's lunchtime and a handful of pupils at Lantern Academy, a Telford primary school, are playing indoors, even though the sun is out. The head teacher approaches and they begin to gather their coats. "Are you heading out?" she asks. Two 5-year-old kids just saying, "Hey, doors open, go on, go play in the yard. It's nice and sunny out there. It's nice." A 5-year-old boy responds. It's not clear what he is saying, and Ms. Skidmore tries to help. He repeats himself 4 times in total before she figures out that a family member of his has gone to hospital. He then runs off outside. Ms. Skidmore, the teacher, the head teacher, says, "We have a number of children who struggle with basic communication. Can I go to the toilet? Can I have a drink?" These are some of the basic sentences we have to teach our children to say at school. These children are going to school without knowing how to ask a simple question in a respectful manner to get permission for something. They just don't know. What the hell is going on with parenting in the UK? These children, whose parents speak English at home and have no learning disabilities, are coming to school unable to communicate. The staff therefore have to teach them Makaton, a basic form of sign language that uses symbols and signs to allow them to express themselves. Now, I would have thought that that is even more difficult than getting them to speak English, because their parents speak English. Every aspect of whatever it is they do at home is to do with English. They have heard English. It's not that difficult for English people to understand English, but they're unable to communicate it themselves. So why are they teaching them something called Makaton instead of teaching them something called English? And I guess it's to do with the fact that they very quickly need to go to the toilet. So why don't they just quickly teach them, hand up, toilet miss, toilet sir, please, please toilet. I don't know. I would have thought that would be a lot easier than teaching a basic form of sign language, which seems really, really fucking weird. Some of the children who cannot talk are not toilet trained either. 8 of the 27 4-year-olds came to school in nappies. The school has had to develop intimate care plans to keep them clean, as well as providing potty training. These children never received potty training by their parents. What the fuck is going on in the UK? What? Potty training? 4-year-olds have not been potty trained? These parents have kept them in fucking nappies? They are 4 years old. One mother says her son was late reaching all his milestones and had no interest in learning to use a potty before going to school. It's not about them having a bloody interest in it. It's about you teaching them how to do it. You're the fucking parent. This is not the children's fault. This is the parents' fault. There is something. I'm hesitating to go down the route of going, these children should be taken away from these parents. But that's what's going through my head at the moment. He wasn't ready, she says. So when we felt he was, the school really helped with that. You mean you were a lazy cunt? You weren't a fucking mother. You decided you couldn't be asked to teach him anything, and you decided the school would do it for you. You fucking irrelevant piece of human shit. A child in year 1 is still not toilet trained at 6 years old. What is going on in Telford? Are they all completely fucking barking mad? Have they got zero knowledge of what it takes to bring up a child and be a parent? Are they just dumb as fuck? Or do they just believe this old trope? The government will provide. The government will be the child's parent. I am merely here as somebody who just makes sure that they've got their McDonald's and they've got a fucking Xbox and they've got the latest iPhone, and I just plonk them down on the uncleaned floor because I don't know how to clean either, and they eat stuff that just comes with a takeaway box so I don't have to wash anything up. Michelle Skidmore is the 14th head at the school since 2016. Polling suggests most people think public services have deteriorated nationally in recent years. I think fucking people have deteriorated nationally in recent years. If this is the fucking truth, what is going on? I'm at my wit's end with this. Completely. Similar problems to those found in Telford are widespread. A BBC News analysis has identified particular challenges across Telford's courts, schools, and health services. That's because the fucking parents should never be able to be parents. They should have been fucking, I want to say euthanized. They should never have been born. These people are not human. Situated in one of the most deprived areas of Telford, which gives everybody a fucking excuse, doesn't it? It gives them an excuse. It's a deprived area, so we can't expect them to know anything about how to live, how to be human. It was rated, this school, as requires improvement. It got a new name. 48% of pupils receive free school meals, double the England average. Ms. Skidmore has worked hard with her new ethos, but it's being severely tested by challenges resulting from the COVID pandemic. Why does everything have to be pushed onto something else? Where's the fucking blame? There is no blame anywhere. There are some people that say shame should be coming back. And in this regard, yes, shame should be fucking returning. It's not the COVID pandemic that caused a problem. It's the fucking parents that caused a problem. And it's the government that caused a problem that allows parents not to parent, and where the government becomes the fucking parent. For some people, the role of parenting has changed 100%. Yes, they don't do any. The role of parenting has gone to fucking 0%. That's why it's 100% change. They don't parent. Educational experts and teaching unions say the forced closure of schools during the pandemic meant some families lost sight of the value of education. Now, I don't really know what they mean here. Do they mean public education, or do they mean parenting? The stuff parents are meant to do. In some cases, the parents were too busy working to homeschool their children, or didn't have the space. So they let them do whatever the fuck they wanted, or just kicked them out and they ran feral. When schools reopened, they placed less importance on ensuring their children attended school. So they didn't give a shit about parenting or school or making sure their children went there. These are scummy parents, and children, by definition, will always try to get away from going to school. Always has been that case. Except for Nerdy Rodent, he loved it. I loved it as well. It's where my mates were. In addition, many schools found that parents' mental health became strained. You can't have mental health problems if you don't have a brain. These parents do not have a brain. They just sit there like fat lumps of cold lard. And their children, they see their children as little toys that they don't have to do anything with. Maybe ornaments rather than toys. This coincided with the closure of services where people with young children could meet and receive professional support. Some parents today do not know how to play with their children. I'm getting upset now. Parents don't know how to play with their children. They were ornaments. They just sat there while the parents went off and did something else because they couldn't be asked to interact. The school now runs a weekly class to teach the parents. I keep going back to the competition element. My child's walking versus your child's walking. My child's no longer in nappies. Yours is. Ha ha ha. Shame, shame, shame. Those milestone moments, they've gone now because those parent and toddler groups where you'd see all that have gone. Aren't they on Facebook anymore? Where all these stupid, thick assholes will be living. Parents at Lantern Academy also sometimes struggle to keep their children healthy. Well, there's a fucking surprise. School welfare officers now sometimes accompany them, the parents, the children as well, to doctor's appointments at the parents' request. so they can be confident of fully understanding the medical advice. Right, so medical advice is given to the parents, but the parents are unable to actually tell the teachers what the medical advice is because they don't fucking listen. They're probably doped up with fucking heroin or something. So the teachers have to, those school welfare officers have to accompany them to the doctor's appointments so they know what to do. This is fucking shocking. Nerdy, if you perceive any sexism aspects, just let me know and we'll bring them in. But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say this is all to do with feminism and the strong and independent women, single mothers who know everything. You can't tell them anything. They know absolutely everything and they're perfect. Perfect. Nerdy sees no sex. Right, I'm not going there then. I'm not going there. I retract everything I just said. Children's mental health has also become an ever greater challenge since the pandemic. And the key driver between the biggest problem faced, attendance. The Trust has 7,000 pupils on its books across 13 schools. One's a pupil referral unit. 2 are special schools. What? Just because people are poor does not mean they have to be thick cunts. Does not mean they have to absolve themselves of any human decency. Does not mean they have to choose that understanding society and understanding how to be a human being is not for them. And yet, this trust in Telford has 7,000 pupils, 5 primary schools, 5 secondary schools, 2 special schools for the really special kids, and a pupil referral unit for the more special kids that prefer to knife people rather than just have a conversation. At any time, about 10%, 700 pupils are being looked after by a team of welfare officers employed to support teachers and families. What? This never happened when I was growing up. We didn't have it as good as this best ever society that the liberal democracies had produced. And yet we didn't have any of this shit. None of it. We had mothers who knew how to be mothers, and generally wives, although I'm not sure my father would say that my mother knew how to be a wife. And then you had fathers, and both of them knew how to discipline and how to teach and how to get their children to do shit. Otherwise, something would fucking happen that they didn't want to happen. Just wait till your father gets home, you little cunt. No, she didn't teach me that word. My brother did. So, when we're digging into the background problems now, we're noticing that things are getting more complex for a lot of children and families. It's only complex because they don't know how to human it. How far do you take it down the route of blaming the government for being weak, for introducing things like strong and independent and I don't need no man and welfare payments for single mothers and allowing children to stay with parents who really, really, really are unable to even look after themselves, never mind children. I think we might need to take on the 1950s Irish method of having nunneries that are full of children on welfare. Maybe not. Maybe not. The Catholics weren't particularly hot at looking after children. Or maybe you could turn around and say they're a bit too hot at looking after children. With higher rates of parental mental health issues. You mean thick cunts? Thick cunts who do drugs and refuse to get a job. They just sit around. A bit like those people in New York that like that. We've got the cost of living crisis. Oh, blame the government. Parental mental health issues, blame the government, blame somebody else, blame their parents for passing it on. Blame feminism. We've got children who are on the waiting lists to be assessed for autism and ADHD, who I suspect are just children that have been stunted by their thick, mentally health stunted parents, who have been fed on fucking McDonald's, which is why these people have got a cost of living crisis, because it's so damn expensive to eat McDonald's breakfast, lunch and dinner that they've got no money left for doing anything. And because they all eat all of that shit, they're all fat cunts, which impacts their brains and their movements, which gives you autism and ADHD. I don't actually agree with ADHD. I don't think there is such a thing. There is such a thing as bored boys who will just having to sit there, especially if they've got a big fat arse and they don't know how to wipe it. They'll have all bloody nasty, horrible scabs and burns all over their backside with the skid marks in their nappies. No wonder they can't fucking sit still. Because the educational environment is not the right environment for them. Holy shit. It's never been the right environment for boys. They need movement. They need activity. And that these kids haven't had any. Harley is a 15-year-old who suffers from severe anxiety. He's not attended a full day at his school since April 2023. Jesus, I can't read any more of this. I can't get through it. It's really, really, really annoying me. I want to go back to President Macron. The cunt. Look at him, the piece of shit, with his exceptionally good-looking wife. Anyhow, I don't even have anything going through my mind that suggests that there may well be a good drop that I could play that could take the piss out of all of this. I tell you what, I'm just going to say congratulations to our government on having achieved this, and to all the feminists on having achieved this glorious way that our society is going. And I think that'll have to do. I might have to just say goodbye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Say
Got a
goodbye.
lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I shot my wife in the stomach with 38.
Why did you do this?
She enticed me and she ridiculed me throughout my lifetime. I'll see if she's alive. You alive? Yeah. I think she's dead.
Sensational.